In 1965, a spacecraft was flying over the Sahara Desert. The two astronauts inside were looking at the ground with great amazement. They had spotted something in the middle of the Sahara that was hard to believe. These two astronauts were James McDivitt and Edward White, who saw a huge structure in the desert that looked like a human eye. Amazingly, it had a pupil-like feature in the middle as well. This eye-like structure is 265 kilometers long and 70 kilometers wide, with a total area larger than 18,500 square kilometers, meaning it could easily fit 30 cities like Mumbai or 5 cities like Karachi. The pupil, perfectly round in shape, has a diameter of 40 kilometers. This unique and mysterious structure can only be seen from space and is known as the Eye of the Sahara or the Richat Structure. You might think this is a sign of a massive asteroid impact, but that's not the case. Scientists have found no evidence of any asteroid impact here. That's why this structure has left the scientific community puzzled to this day. We don't know how this unique and perfectly round structure was formed in the middle of the desert, but historians have pointed out that it resembles the map descriptions of the lost city of Atlantis. Not just one or two, but dozens of maps describe Atlantis as an advanced civilization with ring-shaped cities, each connected by bridges with ocean water flowing beneath them. The shape of the Eye of the Sahara shows many similarities with the described Atlantis. Regarding its location, 2,500 years ago, the Greek historian Herodotus made a map of the world at that time, which mentioned a city named Atlantis in the west of Africa. If this map is matched with today's world map, Atlantis's location aligns precisely with that of the Richat Structure. Not only this map, but also 2,000 years ago, Roman geographer Pomponius Mela made a world map which also mentioned a city named Atlantia. The orientation of this map is towards the east, but if you rotate it to align the north at the top, you can see that Atlantia or Atlantis is shown in the northwest area of the Sahara. Once again, this location of Atlantis matches the present-day Richat Structure or Eye of the Sahara. From the ground, the rings of the Richat Structure are so large that no one would realize they are standing among them. Archaeologists have not found any evidence here that suggests a human civilization existed 12,000 years ago. However, nowhere else in the world has a structure like the Richat been found, which is why it remains a mystery to science. Besides the Richat Structure, the Sahara Desert holds many other secrets. When we think of the African Sahara, we imagine blistering sun, endless sand dunes, and extreme heat. However, as dry as the Sahara appears from above, it has seen many green periods in Earth's history. The total area of this desert spans 9 million square kilometers, which is as large as the entire United States or Europe. The Sahara is so vast that 11 countries share it, and it is continually expanding. Its area increases by 10% every 100 years. But why is this, and where does all this sand come from? The most beautiful scene of this desert is the White Desert in Egypt, which resembles the Arctic region during the day. Looking at the white sand and the white limestone formations in between, it seems as if someone deliberately crafted them into this shape. However, millions of years ago, this place was the ocean's bottom. About 250 million years ago, when dinosaurs roamed our world, this place where the Sahara is now located was called the Tethys Ocean. Over millions of years, the weight of this ocean deposited a layer of limestone at its bottom. As time passed, new continents formed, and the ocean disappeared. Winds began to hit this solidified limestone layer for the first time. Due to wind erosion, the particles of limestone spread and gradually transformed into this white desert. The story of sand formation is the same for the entire Sahara. Where there was limestone, it became the white desert, and where there was sandstone, it became orange-colored sand. The surprising thing is that the Sahara Desert has not always been like this. Scientists have found evidence within the sand of plants and tree fossils that cannot grow in today's harsh conditions of the Sahara. This means the Sahara was not always like it is today, but rather the landscape of this place was quite different from today's Sahara. 2.6 million years ago, our world was heading into the last ice age. Everything began to freeze. There was no distinction between land and oceans, and glaciers started to form. Geologists say this was the beginning of the fifth major ice age in Earth's history. Our Earth enters an ice age every few million years, usually due to changes in Earth's orbit, which makes it farther from the Sun. During this last ice age, areas around the equator, including Africa, did not freeze but became much cooler, known as the African humid periods. While the rest of the world was covered in a thick layer of ice, the Sahara was lush and full of life. There were meadows stretching for thousands of miles, and every inch was covered with green grass. Due to rains, rivers flowed here, and there were lakes which, if they existed today, would be called the world's largest lakes. There were all kinds of animals that are found in a rainforest. Along with all these things, a large number of ancient humans migrated here because the greenery of the Sahara supported life compared to the rest of the world. Agriculture could be practiced here, animals could be raised, and the weather was livable, much like it is in Europe today. The Ice Age, which lasted for about 2.5 million years, began to end about 11,000 years ago. Earth's average temperature slowly started to rise from -60 degrees Celsius. The thick layer of ice began to melt, and even the ice caps over the oceans started to thaw gradually. For the next several thousand years, the life conditions of the Sahara remained intact, but around 4000 BC, about 6,000 years ago, nature decided to take back the Sahara's greenery. From that point on, green meadows started to disappear, and the underlying sand once again came into contact with the air and began to spread. A glimpse of the lush Africa of millions of years ago can still be seen today in the world's longest river, the Nile. The Nile River, 6,695 kilometers long, starts from Uganda in South Africa, passes through the Sahara, and falls into the Mediterranean Sea near Egypt. When North Africa turned into a desert, the ancient Egyptians could never find out. This was why the ancient Egyptians began to worship the Nile River. In their view, it was a sacred river whose source was unknown to anyone. Even in modern times, many expeditions were undertaken to find the origin of the Nile River. The entire Nile River passes through 11 countries during its journey and is only 200 meters shorter than the Amazon River. Since pleasant weather existed in the African continent during every ice age, meaning either it was very hot here or there were normal conditions, but Arctic conditions were never created here where human habitation was impossible. This is why evidence of very ancient civilizations of humans has been found in Africa, or rather it can be said that humanity started here, which would not be wrong. In November 1974, the oldest human skeleton was found in Hadar, Ethiopia. This skeleton is 40% complete and is astonishingly 3.2 million years old. According to many religious texts, the area where humanity began is today's Africa. Scientific evidence also reveals that the human species was first born in Africa. There is a place named Endi Plateau in the Sahara Desert where a secret garden exists. This place is like paradise for local nomads amid the hot sands. For thousands of years, this place has been a stopover for caravans traveling in the Sahara. Here animals, especially camels, drink water, and there are cool caves for humans to rest in. Inside these caves, ancient engravings are still visible. When the Sahara was lush, rock arts can be seen all over the inside of the caves, where cattle are mostly depicted. These animals are usually found in places where grass and bushes are available for them to eat. Today, other than camels, it is impossible for any other animal to roam here. Until 1940, there were African lions here, but now they have also become extinct. Some crocodiles live on the water's edge in this hidden garden, but the question is, crocodiles cannot travel such a long distance, so how did they end up in the middle of the Sahara? Experts believe that they are a breed of African crocodile that didn't come from anywhere special but have been here for thousands of years. Today, only a few crocodiles remain here, and they are slowly disappearing as well. They don't have much to eat, and they survive by eating frogs and fish in the water. The mystery of the unique and mysterious stone of ancient Egyptian king Tutankhamun's necklace is also hidden in the Sahara. This stone puzzled researchers for many years. It is a natural glass stone not found anywhere else in the world. At one time, it was believed that it was not a part of our planet but came from another world. But finally, its origin was found right in the middle of the Sahara. In the part of the Sahara located in Libya, many such stones are scattered among the sand. Experts believe that 30 million years ago, an asteroid impact melted the sandstone rocks here. At that time, the flow of rivers and streams was very common here. When the lava from the sandstone fell into the water, it quickly cooled and turned into glass stone. The unlimited sand of the Sahara seems completely useless at first glance. Neither can this land be used for agriculture, nor can this sand be used in construction. But it is said that nature always has a plan, even when it may not seem so. This golden sand of the Sahara has two major uses that are transforming the future of this planet. The first use is in renewable energy. The scorching heat in the Sahara has not gone to waste. Here in Morocco, one of the world's largest solar power plants has been installed, covering an area of over 3,000 hectares, producing electricity for over 10 lakh homes. Even in Egypt, a similar solar power plant has been installed to harness the heat from the sun. If you like this video, do subscribe to my channel for more interesting content like this.